Hello and welcome to Peaceful Oasis live meditation concert, where we regularly showcase very talented musicians, poets, activists, as you'll see tonight with our guest, storytellers, and poets. And tonight, oh my God, I'm so excited about tonight.
We've been looking forward to this for weeks and weeks.
Yes, absolutely. This is my spiritual coach. I think I worked with her about 11 years ago. Oh my gosh. And she completely turned my life around. So we're so excited to have her as a guest. But I have to read this because it's so freaking cool. Jennifer Hough was a corporate economist for a large multinational company until she got physically sick with migraines, depression, fibromyalgia from toxic exposure, and watched her life fall into effort and struggle. She then traveled the world and worked with scientists, doctors, mystics, and spiritual leaders who corroborated the tie between our vitality, our abundance, our ability to flow with the laws of physics, and made an astounding full recovery. And we're going to bring Jennifer on now, and we're going to have her talk a little bit more about this. Oh my gosh. Hello, Jennifer.
I'm so excited to be here, David and Miss Tamara.
We understand that we're going to talk about soup tonight.
Well, yeah.
Yes, apparently we are.
Well, first, I have to love on you, Jennifer, because
Aw.
I really did mean it. You have this ability to literally go into the cellular structure. I mean, you went into my cellular structure, or you saw my cellular structure, and the words that you said created this allowance for me to transform. And I have to say, it really, my life never really looked the same. It just looked so much brighter and so filled with, you know what? The universe has my back. And I have absolutely known that ever since I worked with you. I did not know that before, but now I know for a fact that the universe has my back on everything.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Today someone asked a really cool question on we have a little Facebook group that I love playing in. And someone asked a powerful question. They said, Jennifer, what is the difference between a transmission and an activation? And it speaks to what you just said you experienced. Mm-hmm. So, want to hear the answer?
Yes.
Because we're going to do an activation tonight, so it kind of pertains, right?
Absolutely.
So, and it's the reason why what we did together made such a difference for you. Because a transmission is like having really cool, awesome, wicked, genius information and saying it, speaking it, and somebody hears it with their 2 ears. Mm-hmm. And they make decisions based on it. And trust me, it often is very enlivening, and we're filled with gratitude for transmissions and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Activations are different. And trust me, when I was a corporate economist, I really had no clue of what I'm about to say. Even now, it sounds a little strange to me after 20 years. But an activation is when you're with someone who's embodied a deeper truth about the way that life or consciousness or physics works. And unbeknownst to me way back then, when we awaken, when we heal things, when we transcend our past, when we start to break free into the world of being able to go direct with our deeper wisdom. We've all had moments of those deeper wisdom flows that we get in. Mm-hmm. But as soon as I had several things happening in my life that you mentioned earlier that were not so hot. I had to go on a very deep journey, and I'm very grateful for that. And it helped me to build what I would call metaphysical bridges to freedom, to being able to go direct with my deeper wisdom, to the ability to understand how life works so that I can plug into life at the level of thriving rather than the way I was plugging in, which was definitely surviving. And even halfway through my journey, it was surviving better. But at some point, I just knew that it was time to thrive. And as we build bridges, because I know you guys have done a lot of work on yourselves too, you're activators as well. We're all activators to some degree. And after having worked with tens of thousands of people all over the world, you start to build deeper and deeper bridges within you, metaphysical bridges that come out your cells, like photon packages of light. That's why you get goosebumps sometimes when you're around people, or that's why you get goosebumps sometimes when someone speaks a deeper truth and you go, ah! And it's because you're in asking for the, and I'm going to say this is going to sound a little bit weird to some people, but imagine that communications, you have one mouth, but you have 75 trillion cells. And your 75 trillion cells are giving off packages of light at the same time your mouth is giving out sound waves. And so those photon packages of light, there's 75 trillion cells that are emanating that information through these little packages. And that's why we feel that zzz, that electricity. And the deeper truths lie more in the photon package, in the allegory of what's being communicated, in the story of what's being communicated, rather than in the actual words that your brain is trying to understand, if you know what I mean. And if you're smart enough to listen with 75 trillion cells, give or take, um, give or take a couple of trillion, what happens is your body actually takes in the information at the level that would transform the way you plug into life, rather than the level that would simply have a interesting conversation with your intellect. So what we're going to do tonight is not a transmission. It's actually an activation. And when I was working with you, Tamara, that's exactly what we were doing.
And I'm already feeling it. I'm buzzing just by you have that energy about you that just instantly makes me buzz.
Yay! So wait. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So goosebumps or truth bumps, depending on where you live, we call them different things.
Okay.
So when you're in asking for deeper information or for new information, or you're looking to upgrade, and someone appears in your life that speaks deeper truths that are in direct vibration. I don't remember if you remember high school, but they talked about sine waves, right? When what you're asking for is one frequency of sine wave, and what the answer is another frequency, it's like this perfect magnetic match for what you are seeking. What happens is your body gets a surge of photons. And that surge of photons is what actually causes the goosebumps.
Wow. And for people who don't know, can you explain a little bit more about photons?
So everything at the basis of its existence, on one, just like we go from this physical body, then we go to cells, right? And then the cells are broken down into molecules, but molecules are made up of atoms, and atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. And those protons, neutrons, and electrons are actually made up of wave particles. They're made up of quarks. They're made up of all sorts of crazy things. And those crazy things, at a foundational level, we're made up of particles. One of them is in the form of photon packages of light. So at a very basic level of our existence. And so those photon packages of light are everywhere. They're of everything. They're in everything.
The
And since,
stars, the
right,
everything, yeah.
exactly. And the sun is constantly giving off, speaking of stars, is constantly giving off photon packages of light. And so that's how, the whole idea of photosynthesis happens. So that light is at the foundation of our life. But what we notice scientifically is that our 75 trillion cells actually have receptor sites for different versions of light particles. Not like a woo-woo concept, like an actual scientific reality. And then that we also give off photon packages of light, not like measuring auras. It's a whole, so it's not, again, not a woo-woo concept, not that auras are woo-woo, but it's more of we actually give off light particles at the speed of millisecond, 75 trillion per millisecond. So we're constantly giving out information based on who we are, and we're constantly receiving information. But when we live from our mind, what happens is we aren't actually present to what's really going on in most of creation, because in our mind we're just looking at 3D. Meanwhile, this whole multi-D world is happening. And that's where instinct and intuition, it's a scientific explanation for instinct and intuition about things. So we're going to tap into tonight let's say, we're going to tap into the part of us that actually senses reality from that point of view, rather than the five senses, and get a little wise, get a little wisdom activation, and enable our nervous systems to see much more deeply what's going on in the world, in our individual worlds, so that we can find some peace. But the coolest thing for me is that I get to explain what's happening before we do it, so that people can really imagine that you're breathing from your cells, you're breathing photons rather than your lungs breathing oxygen. And put yourself in the presence of that, the breathing in and out of that. And it's just so powerful for me.
And it is powerful. And you started off by saying, we're going to talk about soup.
There's a lot of soup going on these days, right?
What?
Yes.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, there's chicken noodle. There's
Which we could use a lot of lately. Yeah.
Yes.
cream of tomato. And then there's the one that almost everybody has a couple of cans of, and that's anxiety soup.
Yeah, right now. So, So imagine 7.5 trillion, well, I guess it's 7.8 now, trillion or billion people in the world. So 7.8 billion people in the world. By the way, I always like to say that's 1/10,000th of the number of cells in your body that are living in harmony. So if you lose hope for humanity, remember that you have 10,000 times the number of people on the planet, number of cells living in perfect harmony. So there is hope.
Yes.
However, anxiety soup, yes. Imagine, and it'll be easy to imagine because it's so, 7.8 billion people actually emanating photon packages of light from their 75 trillion cells. And so many of them are worried, are concerned, are distracted and pulled by their carrying of humanity or their carrying of their families. And they're taken out of the presence of their cells and into their mind. As soon as you get scared or worried about a future that you don't know how it's going to go. It's by definition what anxiety is, projecting a future that you don't know and acting now like it's real. And that's why we feel anxiety, because we're making up stories about the future that may or may not be true. The cool thing is that we have feelings and emotions to let us know that the future we're projecting is either necessarily not consistent with what's going to happen, or it's not useful to make that projection about the future. And when we do that, in the now, we get told that we're off track with our thinking and with our attention and with our focus through anxiety. Anxiety doesn't happen out of the blue, although it can seem that way to people who suffer from that, having been one of them. So anxiety actually happens to so many of those 7.8 billion people, because they're projecting futures and they have lots of ammunition, lots of evidence that it might not go well. But when we remember that it's based on a projection, and that the only thing that has power is now. And so one of my favorite things is those watches that all it says is now on it. So in the now, you have access to whatever's going on right now. The world has gone away. There's only me having a conversation with I'm sure a group of lovely humans out there, and David and Tamara, and my friend in the background there, and that's all there is. And so one might say, well, isn't that a little bit woo when the world is going crazy? No, it's actually not, because right now is the only place I can get an instinct that might do something or call me to action that would make a difference. And if I live in the future and in fear, I don't know if anyone has ever recognized before out there, but have you guys ever seen that when you're in fear or when you're anxiety, you don't really get great ideas? Did you notice that?
No, they only get worse.
Yeah,
actually.
right. You do all these protective, you get ideas about how to protect yourself and so it becomes all about you when you're in anxiety. But if enough people, which is why I love what you guys are doing, because if you get enough people in the present moment, they now have access to the deeper wisdom that would actually allow them to receive the ideas that they've been launching for eons. The more contrast you have, the more polarity there is, the more that the dark matter of creation, the dark matter of physics, responds instantly with solutions. But you can't line up with the solutions if you're still in the contrast that is creating the solutions metaphysically. You actually have to line up with the solutions. And so what you guys are doing is really assisting people to line up with the solutions for their own lives, for their families, for whatever is happening in the world, such that they can be in that powerful now and find their way home to the ideas that have been waiting for them.
Wow. Yes. Thank you. And as are you, Jennifer. And so how about now we go right into this amazing activation of yours? Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Wonderful.
Take your consciousness, take your attention, take the you that perhaps you've thought that you are, and imagine right now that you could take it behind your eyes, that you could take that consciousness behind your eyes, out into the vastness that is all that is. take your consciousness to a place beyond your body, maybe beyond this room, maybe beyond the country that you're in, beyond the beautiful continent that you're on, beyond the globe. Imagine that by going behind your eyes, you go behind everything. That in fact we can voyage beyond this earth, beyond the moon. That in fact we're not going beyond, we're including all of it. Let's include the sun, let's include the solar system. Let's understand from this place where the earth is moving around the sun at tens of thousands of miles an hour in a spiral, that the sun is moving around in the entire galaxy at hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, and that this galaxy is moving around in the toroidal field of the entire universe at a speed that has too many zeros to count. And that you're not insignificant in all of that, that in fact you can include all of it. Imagine now that at the basis of every one of the protons at the center of your atoms in your body is a beautiful, big black hole of possibility, measurable by scientists around the world, showing that not only is the universe at large just a big possibility machine, but even at the center of your cells, that same possibility machine lies, waiting for you to be present enough to receive all of the creative ideas that await. Breathe through that possibility just for a moment. Breathe through the idea that not only are you in a spiraling universe, but at the basis of every atom of your being is another exactly replicated spiraling universe of creativity. What are the implications that you are that now? Perhaps you may be in a place right now that feels peaceful or is in wonder. And I recommend that you allow yourself to just include the energy, include the vibe of the conversation, rather than trying to understand with your mind. Feel with your 75 trillion cells the expanse of what's available in that place. From here, and imagine that you can stay here. We can bring this expansive all is well, as though you're standing on the top of a mountain looking at all of humanity and looking at the beauty of this creation called planet Earth. And from this place, there is such possibility and so much peace at the top of this mountain. Except we're at the top of the entire universe. But imagine we can take this degree of perspective, this degree of wisdom, and imagine that it's simple to just embody that greater view and take it with you as we visit what's going on right now, maybe in your life, on the planet. But as we come back to your body, we include that greater wisdom. And as we include that greater wisdom, what happens is that it clears all of the polarity away, as though in the presence of the frequency of that degree of harmony, in the presence of the frequency of that degree of harmony, all that doesn't match must, just like the entire universe, be spiraling around you but miles away. Not in avoidance, but in perspective, such that you become your own eye, such that you become your own peace vortex of deeper knowing. And as some of these things spin into your consciousness, you are able to bring that deeper wisdom and ask, is there something to do? Is there nothing to do right now? Could there be something to say? Is there nothing to say right now? And let the answer come from that greater wisdom that you've brought with you. Let the answer come to you and leave space. Leave space, just like you've left space between you and the world at large. Leave space for the answer, such that the PTSD that this world might be causing for many people you know, maybe sometimes you, that it's all outside of you. And that oftentimes we can try to respond or try to fix or try to resolve immediately. But here we have space without the mind needing to jump on the something wrong. What if there's nothing wrong? However, there might be something inspired right now to do, or not. And you get to receive that. And then in fact, the sitting back, even now, sit back in your chair, sit back wherever you are, lean back. This is the energy of receiving. Just allow yourself to lean back, even maybe open your arms a little bit, maybe even open your hands a little bit. And don't know. Create that vacuum of possibility for yourself, where the answers from greater wisdom can come. The nervous system of humanity. The nervous system of humanity is a little shaken right now. But from the place we're in right at this moment, We're at the top of the universe, the top of a mountain, the middle of a storm. And it's all far away. And as we activate the possibility for us, we create a thought bridge, a photon bridge, a brain bridge for all of humanity to tap into, to let them know that because we can do this, anyone can do this. Imagine right now that we're all holding hands with our brothers and sisters from around the world, knowing full well that there is no difference between them and you and I doing this right now. And as we join hands, it's not a joining physical hands, it's a joining of metaphysical hands. Most of us is metaphysical. So that over 90% of us that's made of metaphysical particles, we're joining those hands. And as we do, there's just a knowing that transcends anything you could say or do to show people that it is possible. Just bringing your attention to all the people in the world that right now are asking for the answer that you're embodying, called I can be the eye in the storm. Imagine that you are their answer and that they become someone else's answer. In a beautiful fractal universe, instantly millions of people are tickled at the level of their receptor sites on their cells as to, hey, maybe right now is okay. I'm not sure what's going on, but something's happening. And it's maybe the fact that out of your 75 trillion cells, photons that communicate this beautiful bridge to neurological peace and access to wisdom are traveling around the world at seven times a second. Every photon from 75 trillion cells traveling around the world 7 times in a second. The information being made instantly available to all. And finally, from this place, imagine what the world might be like. Because we also get to build a bridge to a world of people that can access this place of receiving the greater wisdom that they desire, that anyone can do this, a child, a 90-year-old, anyone. And then in fact, even if a small portion of people start by transcending the need to energize the polarity, just by understanding that it's not theirs, it's not yours. Ask yourself, is what I've been holding on to or worried about, is it even mine? The fact that anyone can access that is so powerful. But what if the world looked differently? What if we activated a future where we could all do what was inspired, take action that was from our greater wisdom, that we all have the capacity to do that in any moment, because there's nothing stopping us from doing this every hour on the hour, or once a day. And so as we do that, imagine the world coming to a deeper sense of vastness, possibility, and that people are taking actions that are inspired by their deeper wisdom. And as they wake up to that, the world starts to shift in ways that we never imagined. And that you are that agent of awakening and can access this point in any moment. And breathe deeply. And another breath of gratitude for the possibility of being able to do this in any moment. And finally, a breath of gratitude for that future of being alive in our physicality in our bodies right now, as if it's collapsed through time and space. And so it is if you breathe your eyes open.
Wow.
And so there you have it.
My goodness. I would love to share with you what was what I was experiencing.
Please.
When you started talking about the toroidal field,
Yes.
it just, I felt like there was already this, I don't know, it's so hard to put it all into language, right? But this maybe light streaming from me that was connecting to everything else, everyone, everything else. But then the toroidal field, as soon as she said that, then I started seeing how we really are deeply connected. Even more than I was seeing before. There's such a deep connection with everything and everyone. And you know how you know things, but now it was an experience of it. And it was quite amazing.
Oh, I'm so glad. For me, the most powerful thing is that both at the center of every atom is the exact same toroidal field that the entire universe is. And so when I collapse the two, this beautiful feeling of I am that comes across. The other thing I love is the idea of everything is spinning. And then I think of whirling dervishes and I understand why they do what they do. It's like connecting us to exactly how all of the universe works, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it simplifies things. And then what we can do is we can be in the presence of really receiving. It's not even allowing. Allowing is more effort than is necessary. It's actually backing up and receiving it's like allowing would be an extra step. But the universe just is giving us all the time, so we don't have to allow it. We just physically back up and receive that which has been waiting the whole time. The universe answers. There's no distinction of time for the universe. It answers immediately when we have issues in the world. And so each of us is this beautiful piece of the puzzle of heaven on earth that is an answer to that collective asking. But the access to what there is to do for each one of our individual pieces of the puzzle of heaven on earth only lies in the now, right?
Yep. Now, we once heard that a problem, any kind of a problem, is a receiving problem, you know?
Yep.
And it's literally experience, the experience of what you just activated us through, right?
Yeah.
The experience of receiving all that's available. And I could really see and experience that it's all right there.
It is. Yep. Yeah, and we are driving this glorious Ferrari, and we get to drive, and when we drive according to what we're in this beautiful, well, I'm going to say for tonight, a partnership with our greater wisdom. When we start being able to dance with that in perfect timing, That's when we start to really feel the zone. And those are the biggest differences in the world we'll ever make when we act based on that wisdom. So I always thought it was funny that I would ever spend any time doing anything else. If I have access with 75 trillion cells to deeper wisdom, why would I do anything that I should do when I can do the things that I get to do and I'm privileged to do, right?
Yes. You are known for playing.
Yes, I'm a little goofy. I think the universe is a little bit goofy. After all, there are platypuses, you know? So I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
So, can you tell everybody? I mean, David and I have been to your courses, and we can highly, highly recommend anything that you do, anything that you
Oh,
offer. So, can you tell folks out there what it is that you do have to offer and how they can connect with you?
oh, thank you. Well, um, our programs go from, I always laugh when I say get out of your own way is where it starts. And it's really get out of the universe's way, isn't it? Really, truly,
Absolutely.
because it kind of is. But get out of your own way. And you move through that to the new operating system for thriving. And eventually, many of our students end up taking something called flight school. But get out of your own way is where it begins. And I think we're doing another one in November, as a matter of fact.
Good. Are they
So,
virtual?
yeah, everything is virtual right now until we get the all thumbs up and people aren't getting guided to stay home or stay safe, or I think you will follow the thread of how consciousness is headed right now. And so the last get out of your own way, we had so much great feedback for doing it virtually. We figured out all sorts of way to make it fun and interactive, and all of our programs are very experiential. So we even had fun inventing that. But it's all about stepping. Even since you did it, you guys, it's transcended into the world of stepping out of surviving or even having really great tools to survive better into an entirely different operating system of thriving, which means that everything comes to you. So for me, it's a powerful journey, not because, it's my course and I think it's really awesome. I
It is
think,
awesome.
meh. But in these times of great change, it's really hard to it can be, if you're in survival, really hard to build the bridges to the abundance of love, compassion, co-creation. And really, we're meant to co-create together, you guys. We're meant to play. We're not at that stage yet in humanity. We're not side by side with each other. But to create that world, it takes a level of leadership in our own lives, in the world at large, in different systems like education, politics, all economics, all those places. We have to, even in the microcosm of your family, it doesn't even have to be corporately or anything like that, although that as well. But to do that when there's so much polarity, we have to understand what that operating system looks like to be able to get there. You can't get to somewhere you don't know what it is. And then you need to have the tools to be able to, at this point, not get linear results, if you know what I mean. It's time to make those quantum leaps using the laws of physics. And so much is available to us and people don't know. And for me, it's all about the journey of the people that resonate with wanting to actually know. And then life gets so much easier and movements start and changes happen at speeds that we couldn't anticipate. And yeah, a lot of people are going through a lot of pain right now.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So your website is theawakening.com. thewideawakening.com or thewideawakening.com.
Thewideawakening.com, exactly. And people can, we have a little activation gift at thewideawakening.com/gift if they would like to pick something up.
Wonderful.
That is a little gift I wanted to give everyone tonight.
And speaking of gift, wow,
Yes.
Jennifer, you've been such a gift to everyone listening. Thank you so much. It's just been amazing.
We truly appreciate you playing with us tonight, and this was special because not only doing a collaboration with you on this, but also we rolled out the video aspect that we've talked about for a while, and took everyone on a journey to the cosmos and the universe and beyond. So thank you for giving us the space to do that.
Well, thank you for finding that. You know, it's so fun, isn't it, to co-create? Like, you found the perfect music, the perfect video.
Yeah.
I get to have a chat with my two favorite people. I mean, does it get much better than that?
Well, actually, it
So-
probably does. Yeah.
It does. Well, who knows what'll happen
no
out of
limit.
this meditation, right? Yay!
Yay,
So
exactly.
yeah, look, it's I feel extremely blessed and privileged and honored to have been asked. So thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you very much.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us on Peaceful Oasis Live.
Yeah, stay tuned for our next Peaceful Oasis Live coming up in a couple of weeks, October 14th at 7 p.m. We're going to have a wonderful harpist named Amy Cami. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah,
Cool.
she rocks. And
Yeah.
you can catch the previous episodes of Peaceful Oasis Live on our website, peacefuloasislive.com. And also, there'll be links to our live Facebook and YouTube broadcasts. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we wish
See you
you
next time.
a wonderful day.
Yeah.